And good morning, everybody. It is Wonderful Wednesday with Beryl Comar. And I know a lot of you may know Beryl already, and she is my friend, colleague, and mentor. And right now we are going to be discussing about something that we have collaborated on together, and it is our Sharing and Caring series. And we did a free e-guide, and this is for you. It is for everybody, because somebody gets diagnosed with dementia, a neurocognitive disorder, every 3 seconds. And that's a very scary thought, isn't it?
And there are those who don't get diagnosed as well.
Absolutely.
So the numbers are bigger.
So, Beryl, tell us, what made you want to get involved with becoming a Nightingale dementia consultant? Because that's what we both are. I mean, I'm in the state of North Carolina, so I have to say I'm a memory consultant. However, Beryl, I know you're living in Spain. What made you want to become a Nightingale dementia consultant?
COVID had just begun and I was stuck in Dubai. They said anybody over 60 is not allowed out. And I was stuck in a horrible B&B because I'd been supposed to travel the next day. And I saw Dr. Dan Nightingale's course being advertised, and I thought, well, that'll keep me busy as I'm locked down and not allowed to go out anywhere in this grotty B&B. But also because I knew at that point I'd made the decision that if I get out of here alive, I'm not coming back to the concrete and clay. I want to be in my holiday home in Spain, and I know that it's full of a totally different audience. Dubai people in the Costa Blanca, it's a lot of retirees, a lot of English people who don't necessarily speak Spanish, and many of them are losing their partners, they're alone, they don't have family, and they're getting dementias. And help. And there's no one helping them. There's nobody specializing in this. And it brought up memories of my uncle. When I was a child, he had Parkinson's with obviously Lewy bodies, which I didn't realize at the time, but he used to scratch away at the carpet. You know, those carpets or multicolored carpets, scratching away, and convinced that they were ants, the black splodges.
Oh, yes, right, yes.
Yeah. Remember they're like,
all the patterns.
Paintings, carpets, and he used to scratch away that they were ants or they were cockroaches, and he scratch away at them. And my Auntie Dorothy, don't ignore him. But I used to think this was fascinating and want to go and talk to him. She'd sort of hurry us away. I mean, this was in the 50s, late 50s, early 60s. And it always bothered me that I couldn't help Uncle then. I really liked him. He was a nice big softy. And I thought this is going to be some payback when I retire in Spain, and I can give some payback. And being a primary school teacher, it's just been so obvious to me, because it's like talking to that child within that comes out again as people get further along in their dementia. But I also wanted to know for myself, I mean, I'm 75 now, I was 70 when I started. I wanted to know about dementia for myself. I wanted to know what's going to happen to me if I'm locked down in this Airbnb for months and months. What's going to happen to my brain? How am I going to respond? I want to know how to protect myself. And now being able to do this course is to teach people how to protect themselves, how to look after themselves, and take it seriously early at your age. I mean, you're old enough to be I'm old enough to be your mom. You're my daughter. This is the age to start now protecting yourself. I started to take it seriously at 70. So I wish I'd been able to do that earlier. I wish I had the knowledge. So I want to give people the knowledge. I want to give people the skills, but most of all, the attitude that it's not to be feared of. You know, knowledge is power, and get that knowledge now. So that's why I'm involved, and I'm passionate about this and helping people in my community and helping people on Zoom. Carers go through such a lot. When I learned that there's a 50% more chance of carers getting Alzheimer's and dementias once they've been a carer themselves. Wow, I want to help you young people who are caring for mum and dad, those spinsters who are looking after sisters and or mum and dad because the other ones are busy in their marriage. You're more likely to get this as well. I want a world that's dementia free, and it's not necessarily going to be found. They've been pouring money into this for decades. There is no pill. There's no cure, but there's a lot of ways we can manage it. And I'm very much into self-awareness, self-management, and social awareness, and helping as many people as I can.
I agree. I agree.
How about you? How do you get started, Claudia?
So again, Beryl, I love that, and you're quite right. It's about how can we everybody be educated on this, because there is one of the dementias that people can prevent themselves from getting, and that is vascular dementia. And you're quite right. So it's people my age and younger making sure that we look after ourselves. And it's healthy eating, healthy lifestyle, and everybody knows all of that. And we're not going to here to preach on that, although it is in the free e-guide, things that you can do to help yourself. Now, how did I get involved? Well, like you, I had it was COVID was on, and I was here in America, and it was, I've got all this extra time. What am I going to do? And again, I heard about the dementia training course, and I thought my grandma had dementia, and it was, and so as we joined the course, I then learned a little bit more about what actually probably we could have done better for my grandma, and it just became really sad. And I remember crying when I just suddenly thought, oh my gosh. Because I remember my grandma living with us, and I used to sit in her, because I went to boarding school very young age. I was 9. And when I was home at weekends, I would sit with her because she was living with us in her, in her room. It was a big room. And we would sit and knit. And she taught me how to knit. And we had a lovely time together. She, as I say, I could only do one stitch, and I can still only do one stitch. But anyway, she taught me how to knit. And we were making little squares for a dog that I really wanted. It was for a dog blanket. And then I went away again to boarding school, and she used to knit amazing things. She was really talented, and she knitted this sweater that had 4 arms. And my mum stopped my grandma from carrying on knitting after that, because it was a waste of wool, because it was mohair. And it was only during this course that I realized, and this breaks my heart, my grandma, she didn't knit a sweater with 4 arms. She knitted a sweater with 4 legs.
Yes.
For my dog that I never got. Oh my gosh. That is just so sad. And of course, because I wasn't there, I wasn't the connection. There wasn't a connection, and she'd forgotten why she'd done it. And then, of course, because she was stopped knitting, she became very difficult, angry, and she became more and more difficult. And you and I both know that she wasn't doing her left and right, because when we do our left and right things, it's really good for the brain.
Yes.
And that's why horse riding is good, playing an instrument, the piano, anything that is bilateral.
Marching.
Marching. So sad. And then, so she was in a home, and I missed my grandma because we couldn't do the knitting anymore. And, and I know she used to take a lot of things. There was, in her cupboards, they would find all the toilet rolls, all the soaps. She'd go around taking them all. And then, there was lots of little stories. However, there was something else that she did. And this is something that people always get labeled with, that they're a wanderer. And she wandered. And however, you and I both know she didn't wander. She actually was walking with purpose because it was the vicar that always found my grandma. So she was walking to the church.
Yeah, we've got to think what was in their mind that made them go out. We've got to enter their reality.
We've got to get curious.
Mm.
And he ended up calling her Gladioli because her name was Gladys. And that is why my logo, if you like, has got the gladiolus on it, the gladioli. That's my grandma, and I'm the little hummingbird. So it's it's so I, you know, and every time I see it, I don't know if you can. I've only got this here. I don't know if you can see that very well on there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, can you see the gladiolus? So that's my logo for this, because that is my grandma, and that is me, the hummingbird, looking after my grandma and everybody else who is living with dementia, and the caregivers, because actually you're right, people can only do the best they can with the knowledge they have, and that's why we're giving people the knowledge, the skills, and as long as they also have the right attitude and they want to learn, then they will gain all of that.
Yeah, if they have the attitude, we'll give them the skills and knowledge to be able to deal with this. Will they have bad days when they just want to be shitty and swear at mum because she isn't perfect? Sure, just like kids. Days when you wish you didn't have kids, but the next day it's okay, and they forgive you. You know, they forgive mum for shouting yesterday because you didn't do your homework. They give you a cuddle, and it's the same with our dementia patients as well. They forgive you. They've forgotten that because it's just about love. So, you know, if we can, the carers can get rid of our fear. We can get rid of our anger, the fear that mum's never going to be the same again, our fear that she's going to take forever to get ready and into the car or whatever. We're in such a rush. Just slow down to their pace. It's okay.
You're exactly right. Exactly. And if we can give people those skills, and actually you're quite right, and it is always about just slow down. Same with children. Slow down. Things just don't need to be so hectic. I mean, I know they are school mornings. I know I've been there, I remember. But if you're living with, if somebody and you're caring for them and they're living with dementia, then please give yourself enough time, and things don't need to be perfect. Same with children. Doesn't need to be perfect. It's just, it needs to be good enough.
You wouldn't say to your kids at the last moment, come on, put your clothes on, we're going out. Don't want to. No, you get the stubborn kid. And it's the same with the adult with dementia. You've got to prepare them, hang up the clothes that you would be wanting them to wear in an hour's time. Yeah, because we're going there, and they're up there. Yeah, just keep repeating. They're up there, ready for you to get into. I wonder when you're going to get into. You can use those NLP, linguistic patterns, hypnotic language, all sorts of things to be able to help people. It does take patience, but that's the attitude. If you have the attitude, then Claudia and I can teach you the skills and give you the knowledge of why we're doing that. What's happening inside that dementia brain.
And a lot of it is on this free e-guide. It's free anyway. And then the upsell, it's like it's $7, and you've got and there's like
you give 7 videos for 7 days for $7. Only us.
And there's 7 e-guides, another 7 e-guides within that. It's like, what's not to like? You know, that's just there. We've done that for everybody. It's like, it's there for you. And what one of them, I think on the 6th day, it's got like, is this 4 relaxation recordings. Again, they're for you and your loved one. So it's like, it's all there for, as I say, we can only do our best. We have the right attitude to want to help people, I believe. And there you go.
And part of our attitude is that we've been innovating. We've not just been doing what everybody does and what Dr. Nightingale did, which is great work. We've taken it further. We've been applying our NLP, our hypnosis skills. I've been using a lot of I was a school principal and then head of teacher training. So a lot of that linguistic training, leadership skills, communication skills we've put into it. I mean, this has been well thought out, and in fact, sometimes it's not well thought out, because to work with dementia, we've got to be creative and on the spot a lot of the time. So I'd love to say it's very well sorted. No, because we're just reacting as life reacts around us, and our clients do too.
Yeah, yeah. And I see many people living with dementia, and you know, and I love it. I become part of the family, and they, you know, and we have a lot of fun. We laugh a lot, and that's what it's about. It's about bringing in the humor, and what else can you do? Okay, so that went. You know, and get curious when when a certain behavior goes a little bit awry. Okay, what's that about? What's that about? And there was, I did have somebody recently, and it was, you know, he was getting triggered because she was like, well, why? And that question, why? I said, should we lose the why? Because it makes people get very defensive, and it makes them second guess themselves. And then he's thinking there's something wrong with him again, and he already knows there is. So it's like, lose the why. And that's the same with teenagers, lose the why. So
I always say, lose the why, because if you don't, and I don't know the answer, I'm going to have to lie, because why makes a lie, and then I've got to try. So let's get rid of them.
I like that. That's funny. So, but
Yeah.
it is so true for everybody. Actually, I really dislike it when somebody says, "Why are you doing such and such?" I can feel myself getting my hackles up. So, you know, it's just like get curious. Go, what's that about? You know, or
if there was one thing, because we're coming up to, we said we wouldn't do more than 20 minutes of these talks, because if there was one thing you'd want people to go away with on this video, what would it be?
Oh, get the free e-guide. It would be literally to do that. Sign up for it. But you've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, because in there is things that you can do to help yourself, to help prevent getting vascular dementia. So that there is, you know, it's all there for you. It's free. You can help yourself. And again, it's like when you have this, some of those things that are in the e-guide, which are all communication skills, then there's plenty of people out there. You could be seeing somebody in the supermarket and suddenly realize that they're looking a little bit lost, a little bit more vacant and wondering. And now you know that you can say, are you, you know, can I help you? Are you okay? Can, you know, and sometimes it takes a moment because people get disorientated and they may not even know that they have this disease. What about you? Oh, one thing I never pay attention to.
One thing I want people to go away with is to get rid of that word suffering. Because if you've got to, if you keep saying suffering, I'm suffering because my mum's got dementia, she's suffering, just get rid of that word, because it's going to make you all suffer. You know what we say to our brain, you know, law of attraction is going to be what we give our brain. So we're living with it and we're dealing with it. And yeah, mum looked after me when I was a little kid, and now she's gone back to being that little kid. I'm going to be we're going to have fun like we had when she used to play with me. And we're living with dementia as a family. We're not suffering it. Yeah. And that's what we can get rid of the word.
We can. And absolutely. And that's what you can get out of our free guides. You can live well with it. Yeah. And this is what we give.
I was shopping with somebody with dementia the other day, and I'd taken lots of my little cards. On the back of my visiting card, I've got printed, my friend here has dementia. Please be considerate in your communications with her. Made all the difference. Every person we met shook their hand, and in my hand is one of these cards, and they go, because if I say to them, oh, my friend's got dementia, no, I haven't. No, what are you saying? So stop the suffering, and, you know, people want to help. They do. Accept it.
I agree. And I've done that. I recommend that as well. You know, my companion has dementia. I appreciate your patience. Yeah, absolutely. It's such a, and we've got so many things like that within these e-guides.
Yeah,
So haven't we?
do.
So
Yes.
yeah. Anyway, I'm going to say goodbye. So it's goodbye from me, Claudia Rickard.
And bye-bye from me from Beryl in Spain.
Okay, bye everybody. Bye. Thank you for watching.
Bye.